All right, everybody, welcome back to another Snapper Chat podcast. We've been interviewing the top reps in the door-to-door sales industry, guys. We've got a special guest today, Mr. Morgan Hurst. Guys, this is the first. This guy right here has literally not just won one golden door. He's not just won two golden doors, but literally back to back to back, the trilogy. He's won three golden doors the last 3 years. So, Morgan, we're stoked to hear your story, go into some advice you've got for everybody watching, and we're excited to have you here, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, totally. Super excited to get into it.
So we'll just start with this, dude. Like, how did you get into door to door? Were you doing sales before? I know you said you've been doing sales for 5 years and you've gotten three golden doors the last 3 years. So what were you doing before? How did you find out about the door to door space?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have read the book or heard of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I kind of came from a household that was very much a poor dad mindset where, you get good grades, you go to a good school, best school you can, get good grades there, and then you find a good job. Corporate America will take care of you and your family. And so that's what I did. High school valedictorian. I studied a lot, played sports, but I was really good at school. And I went to BYU, studied actuarial science, which most people have never heard of. Actuaries do like a lot of risk management. It's a lot of like statistics and math. So I graduated cum laude, got my job with Cigna in the health insurance, industry. And I was like, hey, I'm set. And it was like a couple months into, I realized I'm running the rat race. And so I had tried sales as a sophomore in college. Really the only reason I did it, besides like, thought, okay, maybe it might be somewhat of a resume builder. It has nothing to do with my profession, but always, it helps to have sales, some sales skills with any kind of business degree. But the big reason was I got married pretty young. So like, growing up, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, very religious. Met a girl, we wanted to get married sophomore summer. And so, I talked to her and we both figured it'd be a good idea to have some more cash before the wedding. So I went out to Cleveland, sold for 3 months. Back in those days, we didn't really look at revenue. We looked at accounts sold. Sold around 200 accounts, so not bad for a rookie. And then I was like, cool. I made some good money. Did my internship junior year with Cigna, graduated, and I asked them to push my start date out by 3 months. I told them I wanted to spend time with family, but really I wanted to go out and knock doors, get a nice little nest egg for a house or whatever. So I went out and sold in New Jersey my second summer. Ended up breaking 6 figures in 3 months. And that's when I realized, this could be a profession and not just like a hustle or like a little gig in the summer. So after a couple months working with Cigna, I quit, came back to door, and I, decided I'm going to go full into this. And so going into my third year, I got challenged by the president of our company, Bob Nielsen. He kind of threw down the gauntlet in front of the entire office saying, Morgan, you going to hit 1,000 accounts this summer or what? And so I was like, yeah, let's do it, bet. So I sold 1,000 accounts. Then my second summer went out. I sold like 725K of rev in about 5 months. And this last summer, about 4.5 months, I did 820K.
Dude, there's so many little things in there that I want to go into, like you being the valedictorian, right? Like that's amazing, right? And it's like you would look at a lot of people getting into the door-to-door space, and it's kind of funny because honestly, like I kind of like sometimes I'm like proud of like how many people I've gotten to drop out of college. It's like, dude, come on, like you're gonna go get like debt, like come out and like change your life, like go back to school. You can make lawyer, doctor money in this industry,
Yeah.
But it's like you got the degree and then you got the job, and you could have just gone there, but like you made a decision. Kind of like going back to how you read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book and you decided that you wanted more for yourself. And I think also like the challenge that you got, where he said, go out there and do 1,000 accounts. So like when he gave you that challenge, do you mind just kind of talking about that a little bit? Like what were some things that you had to, if we were to like on this call right now, challenge everybody, like go out this next year and do 1,000 accounts, right? Go out there this next year and, do 100 accounts, right? If you're in a different industry. What were some of the things, dude, that you had to start doing? What were some of the things that you had to stop doing? And what were like the biggest things that you had to do in order to go out there and actually hit that goal?
Great question. So one thing I do want to say is in our industry, a lot of guys who've sold for a summer or two, maybe 3, and haven't hit like golden door yet, they're always asking, hey, like, how'd you level up? Like, you went from 400 accounts in 3 months, your second summer, to 1,000 accounts. What's the secret? And like, I'm sure the other guys you talk to have told you the same thing. Like, there really isn't a secret. People don't need more information. They need implementation. They don't need like some secret sauce or like, oh yeah, I started doing this one thing and boom, I started selling more. I will say once you understand the game, you start playing it differently. So after my second summer when I made 100 or a little over 100 grand, I realized, okay, this could be like my actual livelihood. And I quit my job. I burned the ships. I had a lot more to prove to everybody. And so I was actually pacing. I was selling like 7 or 8 a day. Like it was almost creepy. Like every single day was like 7 or 8, like no matter what. And so Bob visits our office, I think maybe like a month or two into the summer. And I was like pacing to do, Golden Door, but it wasn't a goal that I had set before the summer. In fact, the president of sales sat me down going into my third summer saying, so dude, what if you sold 1,000 accounts? And like, I literally like laughed. I was like, yeah, that's not happening. I feel like that might be a little bit different. Some guys will like spend an entire year just building up in their mind, like, dude, I'm going to go out, I'm going to crush this goal. That really wasn't my case. I was going to go out and like do the best I could, make the most money I could, and show my wife I'm an elite seller, show my parents I made a good decision. I'm not an idiot for, leaving my career. Um, but yeah, it was like midsummer when he threw down the gauntlet. I did the math in my head, and I'm a big Excel nerd. So like I ran the numbers in the night. I'm like, yeah, dude, I can hit this. It's going to be way hard. I might have to stay out until September, but I'll get it done.
Massive. I mean, I love that line you just said about you don't need more information, you need more implementation. So for everybody watching, like what are some characteristics, some traits, some qualities that you think others could implement um, to be able to like emulate what you've been able to do this last year in order to go out there and hit that status in regards to like the implementation? Like what are things that people can implement?
A lot of it is, so a portion of it's going to be skill based. I think that if you can't sell 300K in a summer as a pest rep, then you need to develop your skill set to go hit Golden Door. Like you haven't honed in the skills yet. Once you're selling 400K in a summer, you have all the skills you need to go and hit Golden Door. From that point on, it's mostly mentality stuff. And I would say like the main thing that I tell people a lot of times is you need to be obsessive about it. A lot of, I'm sure your listeners have heard of Grant Cardone, his like Be Obsessed, Be Average book. There's parts where it's a little bit comical because he's pretty extreme, but like there are some truths in that book where like if you want to be the best at anything, you have to like kind of get obsessive with it. And so something that I think that a lot of guys haven't done, they need to do in order to get to the next level is they need to separate themselves from they need to separate the summer version of them from the rest of their identity. What I mean by that is like a lot of guys will go out in the summer, with big lofty goals. They say they want to do this and that, but at the end of the day, if they have a bad day, they fall back on their, well, I mean, at least I get good grades. The summer's going to end. I'm going to go back to school, or like at least I have a hot girlfriend, or at least I have a cool car. I'm really funny. I'm really well liked. Whatever. I got muscles to go to the gym. You have to divorce those like accolades, your achievements, the things that make you proud about yourself from your identity in the summer. The only thing you can afford to care about is how much revenue you sell. That's it. That's how you measure your worth. And it's kind of a dangerous game to play because when you set up your self-worth and your intrinsic value solely on the amount of revenue you sell, the days that you sell well, you're feeling like you're on top of the world. But the tough days, like you can get down a rabbit hole pretty quick. And like, the anxiety is a real thing. I'm sure you've talked about this in other podcasts. So it's a dark game to play, but I think that's what it takes to get to that next level where you truly just have to obsess about it. And like, that's the only thing that you care about. And you have to write it and own it, take full accountability in the highs and the lows. But it's that obsession and that constant like need to like prove. I think there's kind of three different motivators that I think are stronger than anything else, stronger than money, stronger than incentives your company puts on. The three are pride, love, and fear. If you can tap into some of those really cardinal, feelings and emotions, that's what's going to drive you to level up and force your body to adapt and like make the necessary changes to get to the next level.
100%. I think like the fear of missing out will 100% sometimes motivate people more than the fear of gaining something. For example, like this year, I don't know if you've,
Yeah, the fear of loss is a
oh,
much bigger motivator than
huge.
anything
And
else.
I look at like this summer, this guy, Andy Elliott, I'm sure you've heard of him. He made a challenge with me to get a
Yeah.
six pack in 90 days. And so I took the challenge. It was for $10,000. And it's like, I was tubby. I was like 20%, 22% body fat. But it was like, I'm not going to go on stage at this event with Patrick Bet David and not have a six pack. And it was like the fear of missing out, the fear of like, oh, like these people, like they're going to think I'm a phony, this and that. And like that's what drove me for 3 months to go out there and freaking lose 45 pounds, dude, in 90 days and like cut my body fat in half and win the 10 grand. But dude, there's a lot that you said in there too. Talking about like,
Can I say something about that real
yeah,
quick?
please.
I think that what another thing that holds people back is they are afraid to announce to the world, publicly commit to a big goal out of fear of failure. But the ironic thing is, by failing to commit, you're already like you're setting yourself up to fail. And so like I think that's part of it is you have to tell other people like I'm gonna do this thing. You have to make it known. Cause then you start feeling that emotion of the fear of like, well, what if I don't? And the pride of making good on your word.
100%. You got to put yourself out there if you want to do something big. And I think that is something that I've always kind of done. Like when we got into the door-to-door industry, we're like, we're going to be the number one solar sales team of all time. And then we went out and friggin' did it, you know? But it's like for you talking about don't let the highs get too high, don't get the lows get too low, you know? We always tell our guys like what you go through is what you grow through, and it's like the depth of your struggle that's going to determine the height of your success. So I'd love to kind of hear like for you, I think people would probably look at you, Morgan, and be like, man, like valedictorian, you know, got it all together. Like, do you really have tough days, right? And I think a lot of people might say that. So do you mind kind of like sharing maybe like one or two of the tough days that you've had over the last 2, 3 years of you as you've gone out on this journey to win three back-to-back Golden Door awards? Maybe like one or two of the tough days that you personally experienced, and then just like how you overcame them.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna have tough days. Something I kind of hang my hat on and I am proud of is in my whole career of the 5 years I've sold, I've never bageled in a day. Never gone home empty handed. Um, Including day one, drove up to where my manager's car was, still had my suitcase in the back of the car. Was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. He throws, a knocking puller to me, gives me a slick and says, all right, you're going to go to that neighborhood. I was just running between doors, like, trying to get it done. Got the cops calling me pretty quick, as it goes. But I did manage to sell somebody that first day. And so I've never bageled, but I've come close to it multiple times. Every year there's a day where I only sell one, and it sucks. You have this like fear going on in the back of your mind, like, dude, is today going to be the day? Um, what has helped me on those days that are more difficult or it's really slow and it's hard to pick up momentum is I break the day down to segments and compartmentalize it into like each hour. I got to get a sale this hour. Um, and so every hour, if I get the sale, awesome. It resets the next hour. Same thing. If I don't get a sale in that hour, it resets. I'm not thinking, oh man, dude, now I only have 5 more hours to get 10 accounts today. So again, I have 1 hour to sell one account. And so I'm always like resetting that internal clock to kind of break it down to try to, help calm the nerves a bit. But I remember one day specifically in New Jersey, I think it was my third summer when I hit 1,000 accounts. Like I said, I was like consistently doing 7 or 8 accounts every single day. This one neighborhood just like it was killing me. This was like COVID, everyone's wearing masks, people are freaking out, like, what are you doing? It was like kind of get under my skin a little bit. And then I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna have any luck here. I don't like to move neighborhoods though. That's another thing. Like
Stick and stay.
I'm not trying to call anyone out. There's a lot of Golden Door guys who only hit new dev, drive hours away from the office, way removed from their team. That's not me. I'm not saying the Golden Door's fake if that's how you do it. I'm just saying like you don't have to do it that way to sell a lot. So like, no, I'm here for the day. I'm next to my guys. I'm going to knock in this hood, even though it hasn't been going great. And like, this is the closest I got. I didn't sign anyone up in that neighborhood. I called a guy who I had been like messaging for the past couple weeks. It had been like a week or so that since I said anything to him, and just like did everything within my power to get him to sign up and get him the same date over the phone. So that was the closest call I ever had. That was a tough day, but I am a firm believer if I do everything within my power to get a sale, like something's going to happen, but you'll be able to find at least one person that's going to like, want to sign up. Might not be easy, but I'm at the belief there's like three levers. One lever is your work ethic from 0 to 10. Another lever is your attitude. You can have a positive attitude and be happy, optimistic, or you can start feeling sorry for yourself. The last lever is your skill. If each lever has 10 points, 0 to 10, total of 30 points, all you need is 20 points. I promise anyone with 20 points will sell every single day. I have guys who come out with zero skill. Day one, great energy, working super hard, strong work ethic, good attitude, 20 points, zero skill, they find someone to sign up. What happens as the summer goes on is their skill goes up, but the attitude or the work ethic decrease. And once you're dipping below 20 points, there's no guarantee you're going to sign someone up.
Nuggets, dude. So many things in there are good. Like the first thing about like staking in the hood, we always say it's like stake and stay, make it pay. So many people are always going from hood to hood to hood, and it's like it's not greener over there. It's like
You're wasting
it's green
time.
where you water it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then I think just the whole thing about like visualizing it, right? And like looking at those three things. Like I look back at like when I played sports in high school, I wrestled, and when I first started off, it was like my coach would tell me like, dude, you literally have zero technique, but you're strong as an ox. And I would go into every
Yeah.
single match and I'm like, I'm gonna pin this guy, you know? And like I had no technique, but because I had those two things like you talked about with like the mentality and the attitude, I was able to go out there and win. Like that's where you talk about how always people that like were competitive and played sports, like they're going to do well in this space because this is a game, right? We do gamify door to door. You talked about the tough day. For you, like what would you say is like one of the best days? Like I imagine it's like I don't know, dude. Like, is it on stage with Sam Taggart getting the Golden Door, or is it like taking the money and like making investments, or is it like the look that your family gives you when they see what you've accomplished, or like if you could point to like one or two of the best days that you've had in this industry, like what were those days and why were those the best days that you've had?
Yeah, it's definitely not on stage in front of anybody. I'd be actually surprised if that was anyone's answer. Um, I would say the best day is like the day when you hit your goal. I remember vividly that like that summer I sold 1,000 accounts. Like I hit the revenue requirement for Golden Door well before I hit the 1,000 account mark. I just wanted to. So I already earned the award. I just wanted to like finish my commitment, and that was the hardest thing I have ever done my entire life, hands down. And like people who aren't in this industry don't understand how hard it is and how much it takes out of you. But
Why
like,
was it hard?
I mean,
Why was it the hardest thing you've ever done?
because it literally took everything out of me. I love going to the gym. I love exercising. I didn't go to the gym a single day that summer. I didn't have time between like drawing hair for guys, doing other stuff. I didn't have time. And as important as it is to go to the gym, like I'm not saying people shouldn't exercise. For me, I felt like that was something that I could sacrifice and give up for my goals. So that was way hard. I'm married. My wife was out there. Uh, Performing on an elite level can take a lot out of someone emotionally. I'm a huge introvert. Most guys that get in the space are usually extroverts. It is exhausting for me to talk to people. Like it's exhausting. But it's like a skill set that can be learned. And so I've learned to do it obviously well. But coming home every day, I'm not in the mood to talk to anybody, whether it's a good day or a bad day. I'm tired. I need to like recharge with my own time. My wife who's been at home all day, like she wants to hang out and chat and, like talk to someone because she's been by herself the entire day. And so it's really hard to balance that. So I just made a lot of sacrifices, emotionally, mentally, physically that went into that, which made it super hard. Um, and so like coming to the culmination where the last day where I finally serviced that 1,000th account, it was like a huge relief where I felt like I can be a human being again.
Yeah.
Like I can do things that I want to do and like, uh, but also carry with me on my shoulder for the rest of my life the fact that I can do hard things.
Hmm.
Like when, maybe 10 years from now, I'm not in the door space. Maybe I'm doing something different. Maybe 10 years, my wife and I are having our first kid here in March. We're excited about that.
Congrats.
A couple years, more kids. Maybe I'm finding it's hard raising these kids. Whatever, it doesn't matter what the problem is. The fact that I know my limitations and I know that what I'm capable of because of what I accomplished hitting Golden Door, that in of itself is more valuable than the commissions earned or the award itself. The confidence that comes with that you can do hard things is the most fulfilling part.
I love it. So let's say you've got somebody that's like brand new to the space. They've never knocked a door and they want to go out there this next year and hit a golden door. And then also, let's say you've got somebody that has been in the industry for 2, 3 years. They've been average and now they want to go out and be great. What would be your message for those two different people? For the brand new rep that wants to go from 0 to 100, and then maybe for the rep that hasn't taken full advantage of this opportunity, but now they want to go out there and they want to take full advantage. What would be your two messages for those two people watching this right now? Starting with the
One
newbie.
message to both of them.
Yep.
Yeah, one first message to both: burn the ships and go all in. Like go all in. Because whether you're going to do this for 1 year and try it out and hope to make 100K, or whether you're trying to level up and make this your biggest summer ever, you're doing it regardless. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it the best you can. So go all in with like full focus. Spend as much time as you can. Work. This is more for the first year rep. Spend as much time as you can picking the brain of your manager or whoever the top rep in your company is. If you don't have a company, if you're not at a company where they have a golden door, find another company that has a golden door. I'm not saying to switch. This isn't a recruiting thing, but like message them. A lot of the guys who are really successful, like yourself, Matthew, super happy to give back. There's tons of resources out there. Call someone, say, hey, I'll take you out to lunch if I could just ask you a couple questions. But learn from these guys, train with them. That's the best thing you can do, get from 0 to 100. Now, for those of you who are trying to go from 300 to 650 or 400, whatever, hit golden door, like I said, you probably already have what it takes skill wise. You need to make the decision now and decide what you're willing to sacrifice to accomplish your goals. Because a lot of times it's not just about building good habits. Just as much as it's about building the good habits, it's about getting rid of those bad habits that are holding you back, that nullify the progress from the good habits. It's not just about, how many polar plunges you do, or how many hours a week you spend lifting weights, or how many sales books you read. There's other things that go into it, like, how your spirituality is with God. Are you neglecting your emotional side? Like you're taking time to meditate and consider, what's important to you and really understand your why. And so I'd say that's the biggest advice for me is try to get rid of those bad habits as you're trying to create these good habits to prepare for the summer. But also understand your why completely. And it should be tied to one of those three motivators: fear, pride, or love. For me, it was a combination of all three. Love for my wife, wanting to create a great life for her. Pride, wanting to show people, hey, I'm the best at what I choose to do, whatever that is, whether that's being a student, an actuary, door-to-door sales rep. And then the fear of embarrassment, the fear of loss. Like I don't have no other, I just threw my career away. This has to work out. So tie it to one or more of those characteristics and you'll be in a good position.
Love it. I mean, dude, how many people in pest are doing 1,000 accounts in a calendar year? Would you say?
Not many.
Like, is this
Not
is
many.
this
I
less
mean,
than 50, less than 20?
oh yeah. I would say doing 1,000 accounts, probably five.
Have you met them? Do you know these guys?
I've met a couple of them. Are we talking like guys who did it last year or like all time? Like there's definitely more than five who've done
Yeah,
it.
but this last year.
Last year though, yeah, I know of like, I think two or three guys personally who did 1,000 accounts. I'm sure there's a handful of other guys
Yep.
who I don't know. Um, Personally, I think selling 1,000 accounts is harder than doing 650K of revenue, especially with how pest control account contracts
Hmm.
have been going up over the years. But what I think is more impressive is someone that can do 1,000 accounts or do 800K of revenue in a summer.
Hmm.
It's called summer sales for a reason. Not like taking a swing at anyone who like sells longer year round. Like, dude, more power to you. I think it's more impressive almost for someone who can mentally do it the whole year. But I think it's also really impressive for someone who can go out, hit a golden door in a 4 or 5 month period, as opposed to like starting in February and going all the way to like September, October, November.
Hmm. I think too, a lot of people would listen to this and they'd hear your story and they'd be like, bro, I can't do what Morgan's doing. Like, no way. And like, I think sometimes too, like when you look at people that are doing it at that very highest level, like yourself, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, hopefully nobody watching right now, but like they'll kind of like hate a little bit, or they'll be like, hey, like instead of like hating, it's like, you should just be inspired by that. Right. And it's like, dude, like
Yeah.
you weren't handed a golden spoon growing up, it sounds like, right? And it's like,
Nope.
you're not an extrovert, you're an introvert. You had to learn those skill sets. I'm sure that was tough, right? But it's like
Yeah.
the fear, the love, and the pride. Like those are the three
Pride.
things, right? And then just like having a game plan. You had somebody that challenged you to do it. Like if they would not have challenged you, like we not might not have been on this call right now. You might not be where you're at right now. It's like these,
Honestly,
you
yeah,
know.
you need a catalyst sometimes.
It's you totally need a catalyst, you know? And so I hope that like with that being said, that like this is a catalyst for people watching to be able to go out there and do it at highest level and to be inspired by you to go out and do it at the highest level. But with that being said, like it's a journey, right? Like how old are you, bro? Like,
27.
yeah, we're in a,
So I served a 2-year mission out of high school. Started school 20. I was 20 years old, and my first summer selling, I was like 21.
it's awesome. And, you know, people obviously in all ages, but a lot of us, we're in our 20s and 30s, right? So
Yeah,
what for you now, like, where do you go from here? What are some like 1% improvements that you're yearning to make this next year in 2025?
that's a good question. So I'm not planning. I don't intend to go out and sell another Golden Door. Having done it 3 times, I feel like I've established, hey, it wasn't luck, it wasn't by chance. Like I know what I'm doing. My biggest goal right now is I want to see as many guys possible within my organization of guys I work with. I want to start seeing them like level up to 200K, 400K or more. And that's probably the most fulfilling part about this job is you kind of open the call with this about the people you've been able to work with and help a couple guys make $1 million. Like that's amazing, and it feels super rewarding to be able to play a role in someone's life where you're helping them achieve that kind of success. And so those are my goals going to next summer. I'm going to be knocking with the guys, but with the birth of my daughter and with these other goals, I want to see other guys kind of step into those shoes and kind of grow into leadership. That's my goal is to help as many guys possible underneath me level up this next summer.
Love it. Yeah, like Jim Rohn says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll always have what you want. And I think that's like the natural progression. I look at myself, I was able to go from being like, dude, brand new to the industry, never knocked a door. I'm a setter. Then I become a closer. And then it's like regional manager. So I'd love to talk to you about recruiting for just a minute, if that's okay. Like what, because
Sure.
obviously you've got the system for people to be able to plug into, right? Like you can have a conversation with a guy or girl and just tell her like, hey, like this is what your first 30 days looks like. This is what your first day on the job looks like. This is what it can look like if you do this for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years. But dude, for you, how are you finding these people? How are you building your team? Are you doing ads? Are you running Indeed? Are you doing social media? Are you talking to people at the gym, church? Like what are you doing to build your team 2025?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've done pretty much all of it. Going into it, my third summer, this is one of the biggest regrets I have, and why I told people go all in. As my advice for people trying this job, whether it's year one or year three, whatever. I didn't really take it seriously until my third summer. So I didn't try to recruit anybody. I was just like, I'm gonna go out my first summer, see how it goes. Hopefully, I can make some money. Second summer I was like, okay, I got 3 months to make as much money as possible from selling, and then I'm going to go do this corporate thing. And I never really tried to recruit. It's a snowball effect, right? If I had started sooner, probably would have been at a much different position now. Hindsight is 2020. I didn't know it was something I was going to do in the long run. So when I first started out, being like 20, 4, 25, graduated college, all my buddies are like like what year or two are into their career, or they're already married, or they're seniors in college looking to start their jobs. It's kind of hard for me to find younger people who had the opportunity to like leave where they live for a couple months because they don't have a house or whatever, don't have a family to move across the country and try this out for a summer. And so I had to I call it the cash method, become a human ATM dispensing cash, give compliments, ask questions, smile, and offer to help people. And as you do those things in public places like at the gym, start, hey dude, Mr. Muscle, like save some muscle for the rest of us. Ask people's names. Ask, hey, what are you studying? Get to know them. Next time you see them, a couple weeks later, asking for a spot. A couple weeks later, hey, do you want to come in, like, meet up? Because the conversation is going to be natural. What do you do for work, right? And so that's how I started recruiting some guys, just like building my network by getting to know other people, making friends. That kind of transition into more of like a system that you talked about with, handshake, working with colleges, doing career fairs. I've tried doing social media stuff. I still get a couple leads from that. I haven't really hacked the whole Instagram thing, so hopefully this video blows up. But all kinds of different things. Flyers has been a huge thing that a lot of my guys have done and have had a lot of success with. One of our top rookies in the company, he did 400K this last summer, Cooper Casoli. he was a guy, just a random dude who like scanned a flyer and went to career fair. So you never know where these guys are going to come from, but talent's everywhere. So I don't think there's like one pool or one method or one funnel that you should go, 100% in. I think most guys will find success trying their hand at, lots of different ways.
Love it. Yeah, I think going back to like Grant Cardone and how he talks about like being omnipotent, like you want to be everywhere. So it's like you got to do everything, right? You got to do the social, you got to do the shoulder tapping, you got to do the ads. And then like the most powerful word that you can ask in recruiting is like, hey, who do you know? And then referrals, right? Like who do you know that would be looking for an opportunity to go out here and
Totally.
make
Yeah.
$100,000 this summer, But dude,
Yeah. And
yeah,
that like is good for two reasons. One, you get more recruits, but two, it keeps guys sticky. They're going to have a better experience to be more competitive if they're going out with the friends.
yep. And I was kind of like the same as you. Like my first 3, 4 months, I did not recruit anybody until I like saw that it was real. And then like just when you get, I don't know how you guys recruit, but it's like you show people like the deposits and they're like, wow, like that's pretty good. I'm not making that where I'm at. And so it was just like I hit up like 5 guys and then it's like those 5 guys hit up their 2 friends each. And then we had a team of 10 people. And once we got the team to like 30 people, like in the morning meetings, I would literally every like week or like twice a week, I would have everybody literally DM like 50 people and be like, hey, we're doing a blitz. You want to come join our team? We'll pay for your flights, hotels. And it's like, we're going to be the number one like sales team of all time, And then that's how it got to like 60 people. And then just like, the thing is like, if you get people paid, they'll bring their friends out. And so
And money talks.
it's doing everything, And it's like, yes, money talks. And we always try to talk about like it's not just all about the money. We call it like a compensation plan it's a personal development program with a compensation plan attached to it. So it's like, you're not just going to make money. You're going to learn these skill sets that you're talking about that are going to be able to relate to like the rest of your entire life. And like you're talking about, like the reason why we do this is because like it is hard, but it's like, if you can build these muscles to be able to do this, you can do anything for the rest of your entire life. So Morgan,
Totally.
dude, top 1%er, man, 1,000 accounts in a year. And now you're going to be helping other people do that. And like, what does that look like when you go out and your team does, 10, 20,000 accounts in a year? I don't know if that's kind of like where like the parameters at, but it's like, that's probably where you're going next.
Yeah. Shooting for 10 million.
10 million. That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different for pest and solar and like maybe for people that are like in alarms and automotive too. But it's like, dude, if you're doing $10 million, like you are a top 1%er. There's no doubt. And then, I just think
Totally.
it's cool. Like I forget what the guy's name. I think you said like Ben or something, but like the guy that challenged you to go out there and
Yeah. Bob
yeah,
Nielsen.
hit the 1,000 accounts. Like I just think like like you said, it was the, what'd you call it? The catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah. So again, like for everybody watching, this is Morgan Hurst, top 1%er in the door-to-door industry. And to wrap it up, Morgan, if you had a billboard on the side of the highway and it just had like one message for everybody, what would that message be for for everybody watching?
I have to quote Nike, just do it.
Just do it. Yes. I love it.
You already know what to do. Just do it. You've been listening to the podcast. You know all the secrets. It's kind of like the panda or Kung Fu Panda dragon scroll thing. The secret's you, bro. Just go out and do it.
Yep. Yep. Just do it. There was a video that, I forget what the actor was. That dude that was in Transformers, Shia LaBeouf. And he was like, yeah, I'll
Trevor.
send the video after this, but he's like, just do it. Just do it. He's like,
Yeah.
just do it. And I'm like, bro, that's so funny.
It's like 3 minutes long.
You know the
Yeah.
video I'm talking
It's a
about?
legendary meme.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, nobody understood what he was doing, but it's like, just do it? So,
Yeah.
but Morgan, thank you so much for the time, man. We appreciate you. We'll put your Instagram and so that people can follow you here in the caption. But dude, we do these as much as we can just to put people on free game. It's an industry that's personally changed my life. Like, I went to school to be an English teacher, and literally I would have been making like 50, $60,000, and that was gonna
My
be
dad's a high school teacher. Yeah.
so it's
I get it.
like now to be in this space, and it's like I've personally been able to like change my life. You've been able to change your life. And my message would just be like, guys, like you're saying, like just do it. Like just take full advantage of it. Take advantage of this opportunity. My favorite quote that you said was like, you don't need more information. You need implementation. And so implement what your morning routine, your evening routine needs to be, build those skill sets, have that mentality, have the attitude of gratitude, and then just go out there and freaking do it. And, find what's going to happen. If you're not going to be able to do it, right? That fear, for your pride, and then find what you love, and then just go out there and make it happen. So Morgan, again, thank you so much for
Amen.
everything, bro. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having
And
me.
guys, we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.